And joining us now on our Book Talk segment, great to welcome a woman who's written, I'm sure you'll be a very helpful book to a lot of people, particularly if you're going to school, maybe you got out of college and you got some debt. It's called Buy the Avocado Toast, How to Crush Student Debt, Make More Money, and Live Your Best Life. We're joined today by Stephanie Bousley on the telephone, and she's out in L.A. today. I guess you're out in L.A., right, Stephanie?
I actually just moved to Boston a couple months ago.
Oh, okay.
But yes, I was in LA for the last couple years.
I know we were scheduled to do this, I guess, in March, and then everything hit the fan, as we all know, so I'm glad we could do it today. How's it been for you the last couple of months? I know it's not easy when you're on a book tour, but it kind of interrupted you, didn't it?
Yeah. I mean, pretty much everyone, I guess. Like, I'm just grateful that I haven't had any major things canceled. Like, I've had a lot of friends whose weddings have not happened, and I just feel for anyone that's trying to do anything these times. These times.
Looks like it's coming back a little bit, at least down here in Florida. I don't know what it's like up in the Boston area, but slowly but surely. But let's talk about the book, because even before people were doing their online learning at home, people were going to college, but they got into some monetary problems, and you talk about it in the book as well. You came out of school owing almost $300,000 in student debt, which is overwhelming for anybody, and you talk about in the book how you overcame it. But is that a bigger problem now than it used to be? Obviously, the number is higher, but are more students facing that today than ever before?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think we've kind of created this belief that it's sort of normal to finish college or grad school with anywhere from $10,000 to more than $100,000 of student loan debt. But no one ever prepares you for what it's like to get that bill in the mail, you know?
Right.
We put student debt in a kind of good debt category like a mortgage, but it's actually not putting a roof over your head, and you can't resell your degree if you decide it wasn't worth the money. So, sometimes just accumulating the debt in the first place makes it harder for you to pursue the career you might have actually gone to school for, right? So I use the example of, like, if you studied musical theater in college, these days, to get a job that affords you the ability to live in New York on jobs flexible enough to go on Broadway auditions, is probably not going to be the same situation that allows you to pay back a $1,600 a month student loan bill as well. So, just the idea of telling people to do what makes them happy and go to school for it isn't always the formula that will work for everyone, because some people's dream jobs just pay a lot less than others.
Yeah, I know. Always been, if people that went to medical school, I had a friend that did that and rang up quite a bit of debt doing that. But if you're going to be a doctor, you're pretty well assured that you're going to be able to pay that back relatively quickly. But most other jobs, unless you hit it big on the stock market or on Wall Street, you're probably not going to make that kind of money right away. So it makes it doubly hard, right? I mean, if you have to go to medical school, I think you're pretty safe in knowing you're going to pay it back. But most other jobs, you're not going to be able to pay it back, right? Or at least quickly.
Yeah. I actually, in the book, talk about return on investment of degrees, and I list, like, the degrees with the best and worst return earning potential. And unfortunately, I was one of those people whose dream job was in the low-paying category. I went to grad school for film production.
Right.
And so I just learned, like, after I had the debt, that people still wanted me to intern and work for free or low money or get experience, and that became a lot harder to do now that I suddenly had this student debt. So it's really easy in those situations to kind of break down and go into a depression of, like, wow, like, I really messed up my life here. And it can be very hard to, like, get the courage to look at your financial picture no matter how bad it is. Because I feel like other financial books assume people are just doing this easily, that they know how much debt they have or that they're aware of what their interest rate is. And for some people, if it's just too shameful and scary to look at, some people don't even do that very basic first step. So I try to walk people through the process of dealing with their debt, not just from a practical level, paying it off, but also like emotionally and psychologically.
Yeah, it's a good way to look at it because, like I said, a lot of people just, well, put it away and forget about it and hope it goes away. It doesn't, but that's not the way to attack it. You got to attack it, like you said, little bits at a time. But now you talk about in the book, your story, that you actually went overseas, right, to get a job that paid a lot more, and obviously you don't have to pay income tax over there, so that kind of helped you. That was one of the first things you did to kind of get out of your debt, wasn't it?
Yeah. So, in all these books, people want, like, new information, right? That's what I was looking for. So one thing that I didn't really realize until I was in the situation was that, certain countries have much different tax rates than the U.S., and it's not that hard or it's feasible to actually get a job in those places. So I walked through all the different countries of the world, like what industries are they hiring foreigners for, how to look for those jobs, because sometimes just doing the same job that you're doing here in the U.S. can pay you $30,000 more just in the saved taxes alone. And so that's something that I can do this year that I can implement to get me a lot closer to my payoff in a shorter amount of time. But obviously that isn't feasible for everyone. So I also have chapters that very specifically take people through a process of like evaluating their current career, thinking about other things they could do to maybe get the earning potential they're looking for, but really starting from a place where they're not focused on the debt, but actually on the life that they're trying to build. Because I found that if you just focus on the debt all the time and forget that you're a person who has interests, who has goals, you're going to be pretty miserable while you're paying off that debt. And I think that's what makes it so hard for people to address. It just feels very insurmountable.
And one other thing you did as well, and you talk about it in the book, you actually rented out a condo, right? You bought a piece of property and rented it out. That kind of helped you pay off your debt as well because you had income coming in.
Yeah. So I bought a rental property that when I lived abroad, that was like right around the corner from where my parents lived. So I knew the neighborhood. I could have them go view the property because I was too far away. But yeah, like a lot of people don't even know it's possible to get a mortgage if you have like 4 to 6 figure student debt. But you can. You just have to kind of know the process. So that's another thing I walk people through, just kind of like purchasing property, lowering their high interest rates on their credit cards or student debt, quickly improving bad credit scores, and really just recognizing and reducing the financial self-sabotage.
Yeah, great.
Because that's what it is ultimately. Like it's self-sabotage why people continue to spend or live outside their means.
Yeah, you see so many people just keep making the same mistakes over and over, and they never get out of it. So, yeah, the book is filled with great information like that, and we just touched on a couple. But the name of the book again is called "Buy the Avocado Toast." Great title, by the way, and you have a story in the book about the title. We'll let the folks read that. But "How to Crush Student Debt, Make More Money, and Live Your Best Life" is the full title. And Stephanie Bousley has been our guest. Stephanie, give out your website if you would. People get more information about the book.
Yeah. So my website is www.youarenotyourdebt.com. And people can also find me as You Are Not Your Debt on Instagram, Pinterest, and Facebook. And the book is available for sale online, pretty much all the regular places, Amazon, Target, Barnes & Noble, and there's an ebook available as well.
Great. We'll also put a link up on our website as well. But Stephanie, pleasure talking to you. I'm glad we were able to reschedule, and please keep in touch. Love to talk to you down the road on your next project, but thanks for being with us today.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Stan Brock. 30 years ago, I formed Remote Area Medical to help people overseas. But then we found generations of families in America, isolated by poverty from the health care they need. Together, we can take dental, vision, and medical help to 1 million adults and their kids, right here at home in the United States of America.